So we're open to questions.
The Unite Union in their statement this morning talk about a settlement proposal which they put forward to the DCCL today. Was there anything in there that's grounds for movement at all?
No, this is just going back to the old contracts. They're asking for a guaranteed 42-hour week, back to 3 hours 45 driving, and they want it to be guaranteed for an additional 3 years, that nothing will happen to change their terms and conditions. It does not make any savings at all for the department.
Okay. Now, it also talks about this dispute is not over a pay cut, which has been accepted by the drivers. Now, initially, the Unite Union were talking about the drivers being out of pocket by between £2,000 and £3,000 a year. Their language seems to have changed here. Again, is there anything there that would be grounds for some kind of movement on this issue? Because it needs sorting one way or the other.
Well, I think if you read through that, what they've said is that they want to virtually go back to their old contracts. How can you go back to driving 3 hours 45 and have a 42-hour guaranteed week if you haven't lost your paid lunch break?
Okay, so this is about a pay cut.
It's a paid lunch break that they were having, and the effect on the drivers is around £1,500.
So the drivers have not accepted the loss of the paid lunch break.
I think, Adrian, if I could clarify, Minister, the dispute arose out of the department's decision that the paid lunch break could no longer be justified or afforded.
Yeah.
So, in all honesty, no, I don't see it as a pay cut. It is a loss of earnings, but that's the ending of a benefit. I accept there's a nuance there in that it affects the take-home pay, but we've not done anything that reflects the £12 or £19 that is their base. There are their hourly rates across weekdays and weekends. So there is no pay cut in respect of the hours of pay. The department has explored a vast number of options when it comes to minimising the impact on drivers' earnings. The contract that's currently being worked limits the damage to approximately £1,500, something in that order, though it clearly varies according to your shift pattern and your attendance. But we've tried to cushion that and find savings in other ways, which is why the driving time's been increased. But I think rather than discuss with you now the nitty-gritty and ins and outs of all aspects of these negotiations, what I would say is that as a department we will respond to this proposed offer of settlement, even if the settlement, the offer isn't one that at first sight looks like it has anything new in it. It is at least the opening of a door, and we will hopefully engage in some negotiations so that we will spend time next week not only looking at contingency plans, but also using that proposal potentially as a route to at least get back into discussion and to see if somewhere between our position and the position that was in the notice that arrived with me this morning is some common ground. Because clearly you're right, the disputes need to be resolved in time.
If I can just add something to that, you may recall that the union cancelled the last strike because they were aiming for the tribunals to deal with the issue. It's a surprise to me then that they decided to call another strike, yet we're still working through the tribunal system.
Can I just make it absolutely clear, gentlemen, are you prepared to negotiate one iota on what you've already put down? Are you prepared to move at all on this, or is you absolutely guaranteed you're solid and not moving?
We have to make the savings in the department.
Are you going to make any concessions, is what I'm asking.
The very clear answer to that is, to follow up the Minister's point, the department has to make savings of £300,000 a year.
Will you make any concessions?
If there is a mechanism to make those savings in a different way, then they will be considered. But those savings are the bottom line, they're the red line beyond which the department cannot go, and we expect a mature response as opposed to what we've seen so far on the behalf of the unions to respond to that. They need to know that this is not the government picking on the bus drivers in isolation. The whole of government is having its terms and conditions and budgets under severe scrutiny at the moment to make the savings we need. This is part of a much bigger picture, And that needs to be acknowledged, which I think the union has singly refused and failed to respond to so far.